Hello and welcome to Gardening with Ben, your go-to podcast for all things green and growing. I'm Ben, your allotment guide, and here to help you cultivate your garden and your passion for plants. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or just starting out, this podcast is for you. Each episode will dig into tips, tricks and techniques to make your garden and allotment thrive. From planting, sowing and growing, we will share all the tips and advice. We will also have regular episodes talking about what we have been up to on the allotment. So sit back, grab a brew and enjoy today's episode. Hey everyone and welcome back to Gardening with Ben for a brand new episode. We are now in July when it should be the hottest time of the year. It should be. That is the words. But this year is a very weird year for growing. And I know how it's had a knock-on effect for my growing and for doing the jobs around the allotment that I need to do and get sorted. But in today's episode, we're going to talk about the jobs what need doing in July in the vegetable garden, fruit garden and the flower garden. And these jobs would be based on a normal July. So think about what you want to do, make a list of the jobs, what I'm going to tell you, and get them completed and keep your garden looking thriving and looking absolutely beautiful. So we're going to start off first talking about the jobs which need doing in July in the vegetable garden. So at this time of the year, what you need to do is make sure you water deeply and consistently. Ensure your vegetable garden receives deep and consistent watering, especially during hot, dry periods. Water early in the morning or late in the evening to minimize evaporation. Using circle hoses or drip irrigation helps deliver water directly to the roots, which promotes healthy plant growth. Now, I tend to water early in the morning because that's when the slugs aren't around. Watering at night is when the slugs seem to wake up and they seem to enjoy it more. Mulch to retain moisture and suppress weeds. Now you can apply a thick layer of mulch around your plants to conserve moisture, suppress weeds and regulate soil temperatures. Organic mulches like straw, wood chips or compost also enriches the soil as they decompose. Now I've got mulch around all my rhubarb plants this year and they seem to be doing really well. It seems to be keeping the moisture in and they seem to be thriving off it. Weed regularly. Now that's one job that I always have to do. You're always weeding. Keep your garden free of weeds to reduce competition for nutrients and water. Regular weeding also helps prevent pests and diseases from establishing. Removing weeds by hands or using a hoe to cut them off at the soil level. Now a little tip for what I love to use around my plants when it's quite tight is just a kitchen fork. I just scrape a kitchen fork around the plants and it gets the weeds out. Fertilize your plants. Feed your vegetable plants with a balanced fertilizer to provide essential nutrients for growth and fruit development. Follow the manufacturer's instructions for application rates and methods. Fertilizing in July supports vigorous growth and maximize yields. Now I've started feeding all my plants like once a week now, and my sweet corn seem to be enjoying it. They're loving it and they're growing lots faster, and hopefully we'll get some delicious sweet corn off our vegetable plants. Support climbing plants. Install stakes, trellises or other support structures for climbing vegetables such as tomatoes, beans and cucumbers. Proper support prevents plants from flopping over and keeps the garden organised and healthy. Now you can use sticks as well if you've got sticks. Try and use anything that's free, save having to pay for it. So have a look around your garden. If you've got stakes and stuff like that, just use them to prop your vegetables up and get them off the ground so that they're not getting eaten by the mice and birds and stuff like that if you keep them off the ground, especially your cucumbers and your tomatoes and stuff like that. Thin seedlings and plants. Thin out overcrowded seedlings to give the remaining plants enough space to grow. Follow the recommended spacing for each vegetable and remove the weakest seedlings to promote healthier growth. Now, I'm a pain for this. I tend to plant loads and loads of plants and try and fill up as many gaps, but that's not always good. They're fighting for the nutrients, so just space them out to the correct amount of space, and hopefully you will get a good crop and you'll be able to weed easy around them as well. Monitor for pests and diseases. Regularly inspect your plants for signs of pests and diseases. Look for chewed leaves, discoloration, or unusual growth patterns. Early detection and intervention are crucial. Use organic treatments as needed and remove any affected plant material to prevent the spread of problems. Harvest regularly. Begin harvesting vegetables such as tomatoes, cucumbers, beans, zucchini as they ripen. Regular harvesting encourages continuous production and prevents overripe produce from attracting pests. Check your garden daily to pick vegetables at their peak. Now, this is the best part of the year, picking all those vegetables. Now, I've been harvesting quite a few things, as I mentioned in my previous podcast. So, yeah, keep picking them produce and it will encourage more growth on the plant. Plant successful crops. To ensure continuous harvest, plant successful crops are fast-growing vegetables like lettuce, radishes, and beans. Staggering plants every few weeks will keep your garden producing throughout the season. Now, that's what you want. You don't want everything growing at the same time. You want to be picking your produce right up until the end of the growing season. So try and get some more seeds in as possible. In tomorrow's episode, we will be talking about all the things that you can plant during July. Check soil moisture and health. Regular check soil moisture levels to ensure plants are getting the right amount of water. Consider testing your soil health to adjust nutrient level as needed for optimal plant growth. So that is all the jobs which need doing in the vegetable garden in July. So there's quite a few jobs that need doing, not too many complicated ones. So hopefully you've got them all. So yeah, next up we're going to talk about all the jobs which need doing in the fruit garden. Water regularly and efficiently. Ensure your fruit plants receive consistent and adequate water, especially during hot and dry periods. Again, water early in the mornings or late in the evenings, as obviously fruit plants need a lot of water to keep them growing and to produce lots and lots of big crops for you. Now, the fruit trees will be putting loads and loads of energy into growing all the fruit at this time of year, so keep them well watered and yeah, hopefully get a decent amount of crops. Again, you can mulch around your fruit plants. Apply a thick layer of mulch around the base of the fruit trees, bushes, vines. Mulching helps conserve moisture, suppresses weeds, and regulates the soil temperature. I've got mulch all around my fruit trees, but just be careful. Don't put them up to the trunks and stuff like that because it can cause rotting of the plants. So just be careful how far up to the plants you put your mulch. Fertilize your fruit plants. Feed your fruit plants with balanced fertilizer to provide essential nutrients for growth and fruit development. Fertilizing in July supports vigorous growth and improves the fruit quality. Now, as well, it's not mentioned here, but make sure that you start training all your fruit plants as well. My loganberries are sending out all new canes and stuff ready for next year's fruit to be grown on them. So make sure you fasten them all up and support them all as well. Thin fruit on trees. Now, this is something that you do need to do. As fruit continues to develop, thin out excess fruit on your trees to prevent overcrowding and to ensure better quality produce. Removing some of the fruit allows remaining ones to grow larger and healthier and prevents branches from breaking under excessive weight. Now, I've had this quite a few times where the branches have broken and snapped off due to the heaviness of the fruit on them. Prune and train vines and bushes. Prune grapevines and other fruit-bearing vines to remove excess growth and improve air circulation. Train the vines on trellis or support structures to keep them healthy and productive. For berry bushes, remove any dead or damaged canes to ensure new growth. Support heavy laden fruit branches. Use stakes or props to support branches that are heavy laden with fruit. This helps prevent branches from breaking under the weight and ensures the fruit has enough space for air circulation to ripen properly. Now, my loganberries have been weighing so heavy that they have broken some of the branches, so I've lost some of the fruit on them. So just make sure you keep them supported and following wires and stuff like that. You can put like fruit wires up to train them along as well. Weed around fruit plants. Keep the area of your fruit trees, bushes and vines free of weeds. Weeds compete with fruit plants for nutrients and water. Regular weeding helps maintain a healthy, productive fruit garden. So yeah, always weeding to be done. Use organic sprays such as neem oil or essential insecticide soap to protect your fruit plants from common pests. Apply these sprays according to the manufacturer's instructions, focusing on the underside of the leaves and areas where pests are likely to hide. Net fruit trees and bushes. Now, I've been netting my blueberries because things have been eating them. Protect your ripening fruit from birds and other animals by covering trees and bushes with nettings. To ensure the netting is securely fastened and check regularly to make sure no animals are trapped in the netting. I should have netted all my gooseberries. I've lost all my gooseberries to the blackbird. So yeah, that's all the jobs which need doing in the fruit garden during July. Now, jobs that need doing in the flower garden for July. Again, water regularly and deeply to make sure that you're keeping your flowers nice and healthy and watered well. And again, mulch flower beds to keep the soil temperature at a decent rate, and it keeps the moisture in and suppresses weeds. Deadhead. Now, this is one thing that you need to do on a daily basis. Just do it at a certain time every single night. Just go around at 6 o'clock at night. Just deadhead any old flowers off the plant, because the more you deadhead, the more the plant will flower. And if you don't deadhead, that's when they go to seed and it thinks it's dying off, and you possibly won't get any more flowers on the plant. So keep going around deadheading, and you will encourage more growth and flowers on the plant, especially roses and sweet peas as well. Support tall flowers. Install stakes, trellises, or other support structures for tall or climbing plants like delphiniums, peonies, clematis. Proper support prevents plants from flopping over and keeps your garden looking tidy and organised. Same goes for sunflowers. Keep them tied up, keep them fastened, and hopefully you will get some decent sized sunflowers. And make sure you give them plenty of water at this time of year. I water my sunflowers every single day, as they absolutely love it, and it'll make them grow taller as well, and give them some food once a week as well. Divide and transplant perennials. If you have overgrown perennials, July is a good time to divide and transplant them. Dig up the plants, separate the roots, and replant the divisions in other areas of your garden. This rejuvenates the plants and helps fill in gaps in your flower beds. Prune summer flowering shrubs. After summer flowering shrubs have finished blooming, prune them to shape and remove any dead or damaged branches. Pruning encourages healthy growth and ensures a good display of blooms next year. Plant late summer and fall blooming flowers. Continue planting late summer flower and fall blooming flowers, or autumn in our case, to add colour and interest to your garden as the season progresses. Ensure the soil is well prepared and plant at a recommended depth and spacing. Water thoroughly after planting to help them establish. So there's quite a few jobs which need doing in the fruit garden, in the flower garden, and in the vegetable garden during the month of July. I hope you found all these tips useful and helpful. I certainly will be going around and doing these jobs myself in the garden, as I'm trying to make it the best it's looked in years. And at the moment, it's looking absolutely fantastic. I wouldn't say it's always the best, as I don't always get much time to do stuff down there. But we do try and get a lot of stuff done whereas possible. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Make sure that you do leave a comment leave a like on it. And if you're not following me, do give me a follow and tick the bell so that you get notified when the next podcast comes up. And if you've got Instagram or anything like that, feel free to share it to other people to listen to as well. And make sure that you are following me on all my social media. So until next time, remember, keep smiling, keep shining, and keep gardening with Ben, everyone. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Gardening with Ben. I hope you have found some useful tips and inspiration for your own gardening and allotment journey. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please make sure to follow and subscribe to the podcast so you never miss a new episode. And if you have a moment, I'd love for you to leave a review and share the podcast with fellow gardening enthusiasts. Your support helps us grow this community and continue bringing you great content. You can also follow us on social media on every platform called Gardening with Ben for daily gardening tips and updates. Happy gardening, and until next time, remember, keep smiling, keep shining, and keep gardening with Ben.